Okay, so hi guys. Today, as we're an aviation channel, I don't think we've done much aviation yet. So today we're going to be comparing Airbus and Boeing, and it's a solo video today. It's just me. So we're going to be watching the evolution of Airbus, but the 2 and 3rd out of 1, and the evolution of Boeing, 2 out of 3rd 1, because that's when the modern jetliners came. We'll be watching 5 minutes of each, and then I'll review them, and I'll say which one's better. So let's start with the evolution of Airbus. I won't talk much.
Flying high after the successful launch of the A320, Airbus had just put itself in a prime position to compete with the almighty Boeing. What's more, the world's economy had recovered from a global recession, and business was booming. Increased demand for new aircraft meant a great opportunity for Airbus to increase its sales and expand operations. Just how would they do that? Well, let's find out.
Oh yeah, this just reminded me we need to make an intro as well.
This is the evolution of Airbus, Part 2. Following the completion of the A320, Airbus set out to build a medium to long-range twin-jet passenger aircraft, which would be dubbed the A330. At the same time, they also began work on a longer-range four-engine jet, the A340. Both aircraft were launched in June 1987, only 4 months after the A320's maiden flight. The combined launch marked the first time two aircraft had been introduced at the same time, with both models sharing the same basic fuselage, wing, and tail. These similarities between the aircraft allowed Airbus to save a massive $500 million on their development. Both aircraft were of the wide-body format. The A330 had an initial range of 7,300 miles, whereas the A340 could fly up to 8,400 miles. As with most models, later variants would increase or limit the aircraft's capabilities, in addition to the number of passengers it was able to carry. For instance, the ultra-long-range A340-300 could seat 295 passengers in a three-class configuration and fly 8,228 miles when it was rolled out in October 1991. Meanwhile, the shorter version, the A340-200, could carry 262 passengers over 8,920 miles or 14,400 kilometers. Later in 1997, longer planes would also be introduced as part of the A340 series, specifically meant for long-distance flights. The A340-500, with a length of 67.8 meters, could transport 310 passengers over 10,358 miles or 16,670 kilometers. New about this model was also the sleeping quarters for pilots, which they are very thankful for, given that their flights can take upwards of 16 hours. Since 2021, this model is no longer in use because of its niche role. The A340-600 is even longer than the A340-500, with an incredible length of 75.4 meters, making it by far the longest A340 model.
Yeah, guys, this is my favorite plane if you didn't know.
979 miles or 14,450 kilometers.
This is my favorite variant as well.
As far as the A340-500. However, with its passenger capacity of up to 370 passengers, it does hold the title of the largest capacity member of the A340 family. The cockpits of the A330 and A340 were very similar to that of the A320, making it easier for pilots to switch between aircraft with very little training. That proved to be an ingenious move by Airbus, since it appealed to airline companies that might need to change their planes or pilot crews at short notice. Being of the wide-body variant meant having to compete with the Douglas and Lockheed aircraft companies. The new Airbus models did have the upper hand over these competitors, because they offered 25% more fuel efficiency with the same range and payload. Airbus followed the policy initiated by Roger Batille of always listening to customers when designing and developing new aircraft, while still being able to bring new technology to the industry.
Quand on est en concurrence avec des gens qui ont la réputation et la qualité de travail de Boeing ou de Douglas, ce n'est pas en faisant comme eux qu'on peut vendre un avion. Il faut faire mieux qu'eux et nettement mieux.
There was a particular emphasis on the economy, fuel efficiency, and cabin comfort with the long-range A340, said to offer quietest cabin in the sky. Meanwhile, the A330 was the first aircraft to offer a choice of 3 different engines. One of these engines was also the first Rolls-Royce engine to be used in an Airbus, namely the Rolls-Royce Trent 700 engine. This engine was specifically designed and optimized for the A330. The A330 and A340 helped to boost sales of Airbus models from 411 firm orders with 50 customers in 1984 to more than 900 orders with 74 customers by the end of 1988.
Alright guys, I think that's all we're gonna watch for Airbus. I think I like Airbus. It's electronic, and it was the first plane to introduce. The A320 was the first plane to do the wire-by-wire.
And all the diverse and amazing aircraft the company had developed. However, things quickly changed in the jet age, when the first jetliner was produced in 1957. Since then, Boeing established itself as a dominant airliner manufacturer and produced some of the largest aircraft in the world.
That's the 747.
This is the evolution of Boeing Part 2. While Boeing had developed multiple passenger airplanes, it wasn't until 1957 when the company started to become the massive commercial airplane producer that we all know today. In 1957, the Boeing 707 was developed, and it was the company's first true jetliner. It was based on the Dash 80, of which only one unit was built. This prototype was used for promotion and an advertising campaign that was directed at the public, showing the comfort and safety of jet air travel. Boeing Company President William Allen and his management are said to have bet the company on a vision that the future of commercial aviation was jets. Although the Boeing 707 wasn't the first commercial jetliner in service, the 707 is often credited for the beginning of the jet age. With a range of 3,000 miles and a cruising speed of 600 miles per hour, the 707 was meant for medium-range transport. It could carry up to 181 passengers, which was a lot at the time.
That sounds like a lot at that time.
Main competitors like Douglas's DC-8, Boeing made custom models of the 707 for different customers. For example, for Qantas Airways, Boeing made special long-range models with larger engines. Even though costs of customization were high, the risk paid off, and in total, Boeing delivered a whopping 856 Boeing 707 models. The 720 is a lighter, shorter range variant of the 707 that was introduced in 1960. Compared to the 707, it had much lower development costs. It could seat 156 passengers over a 3,680-mile range. A weird-looking model of the 720 was built, known as the Boeing E-3 Sentry. It had a huge rotating radar dome that was used by the military for air defense and to direct strikes. Only 154 720 units had been built. Fun fact, in 1955, a pilot named Tex Johnston was instructed to do a simple flyover in the Dash 80. Tex knew that aviation people from all over the world would be watching.
I decided that I would do a roll to impress the people.
So instead of doing a simple test flight, he unexpectedly did a barrel roll with this massive...
Bro, you guys serious? Can you see it? That's really blurry.
One of my test engineers happened to have his camera with him, and he snapped a picture, which is famous today, with the airplane on its back, engines up on top of the wing, and the white Washington below.
Bro's really trying to show off, isn't
I
he?
was called to Mr. Allen's office Monday morning, and Mr. Allen asked me what I thought I was doing. I said I was selling airplanes.
He certainly helped selling airplanes, and what do you expect when a guy that goes by the name of Tex has to do test flights? What a freaking legend.
Explained it's a 1G maneuver. It's absolutely non-hazardous, but it's very impressive. And his comment was, you know that now, we know that, but just don't do it anymore.
In 1962, Boeing developed another airplane for shorter flight lengths from smaller airports. They considered the Boeing 727 a very risky development, since there was so much competition, which made it even more challenging that some customers wanted 4 engines, while others wanted 2. So Boeing decided to create the only Boeing aircraft that is powered by 3 jet engines, which are all on the back of the airplane. These 3 engines made it one of the noisiest commercial jetliners. In fact, it was so noisy that they had to use hush kits that are basically like silencers for the engines, which help to reduce the noise. Since 2010, some Australian airports banned 727 jetliners, including those with a hush kit, because they were considered too loud. The 727 had a top speed of 632 miles per hour and an impressive range of 3,110 miles. The Boeing 727 was successful, and it was one of the first commercial airplanes to break the 1,000 sales mark. Originally, Boeing planned to build only 250 of these planes. However, they were so popular that in total 1,832 units were built. Fun fact, the Boeing 727 had a built-in air stair, which initially could be opened in flight.
Oh, that's
In
cool.
1971, a guy named Dan Cooper hijacked a Boeing 727 while in mid-flight.
Bruh.
He carried a bomb with him and demanded $200,000, which is over $1.3 million today. After receiving the money, he prepared a parachute and jumped out of the air stair. Even after a 45-year investigation by the FBI, Dan Cooper was never found. Due to multiple similar hijackings, the aircraft was modified so the air stair couldn't be opened during flight.
Alright guys, I think we're gonna pause there for the Boeing. And so what I think will be good is I think Airbus is my choice. I think Airbus is better because the A320 was the first one with the fly-by-wire. So, but the Boeing is also good, but Airbus just has a slight edge on it. As also the A340 is my favorite plane, and Airbus I think developed the better planes much quicker than Boeing did. Like we're still on the 727 here, and on Airbus we finished at the A340, and the A340 is much more powerful and better. So I think that will be the end of the video. Remember to subscribe and like, but Airbus is better. But I respect those who think Boeing is better if they have their correct reasons. So remember to subscribe and like, and we'll see you in the 5th of January. We might be recording a video because I'm gonna be going on holiday. So we'll see you in January. Bye.